Good afternoon. This is vk3sl, and very shortly we'll commence our test missions for this afternoon. Hoping to kick off in probably about 25 minutes. It'll be a bit of a wait today, and had a busy day out and about. And there's a few things to sort out here before I begin. Should have a good solid hour of programmatics a little bit later. But we'll start off for the next 35 or 25 minutes or so with the music of Andre Navarra. And we were listening to this last night. 14 Japanese folk songs, and they are beautifully played by Mr. Navarra. He's a cellist. He's a French cellist. Plays in a classic Franco-Belgian style with his very fast vibrato. And he is an older man here, but he plays well. It's wonderful stuff. So, Frank, if you're listening, we'll just be a little bit later starting today, but we look forward to your company and listeners abound in about 25 minutes. Meanwhile, let's have a listen to Mr. Navarra. I'm vk3sl. Gosh, that last folk song sounded awful like Danny Boy. I'm vk3sl, and we're testing on 160 and on UHF, and I will be ready to start in about 15, I'd say. Still doing a few things around the house. We've got people coming over tonight, so I have to do my due diligence. So we'll get a good solid hour in, I reckon, but maybe starting around about 5:30. Well, I certainly hope that wasn't too soporific for the listener, but I thoroughly enjoyed hearing that in the background as I tweaked a few things. Bit of a busy afternoon. But that was the music of Andre Navarra. He was playing the cello, a recording from 1979, and we heard 14 Japanese folk songs. Beautiful singing line, and he was a wonderful cellist, Mr. Navarra. And I heard him play around about that time. In 79, he came out and did a concert in Australia, and he performed in the Dallas Brooks Hall. And as a kid, I got to hear him play. Magnificent musician. And I was very pleased to hear that set of recordings appear online. Now we're testing here. That's the name of the game. Test missions on 160 and on UHF, and also streaming online. We have a YouTube channel devoted to the missions, and you just need to look up my call sign on YT, and there, excuse me, and all will be revealed. There is a substantial log of past programs as well. Okay, well, Frank's about. We look forward to ushering him into the fold, but we'll wait and see what he might be doing. And in the interim, we'll have our 20s hit. It's actually not from the 20s, that's from about 1931. But it's Glenn Gray and the Casaloma Orchestra on a rather scratched-up old Brunswick and a Rigonale. So we're playing Schleck direct to air. I like to do that wherever possible. And this recording is quite lively and spirited. I've Got Rhythm by George Gershwin. And that's supposed to work. But it hasn't yet, because something is not compliant. It helps if we switch things in. 1, 2, and we're in business. Fast and Furious rendition of I've Got Rhythm, probably the first recorded, I'd say, one of the early recordings of that, and it's pre-swing. And you can hear it there, very busy orchestrations in that early 1930s period, and it sort of all settled down and things became a lot smoother in the ensuing decade. But that was a Brunswick 78. I'm keen to hear what's on the other side. I might flip the disc. Let's turn it over and find out. Reaching over, and these labels are very worn. Have to hold it up to the side light and see if we can see the etching, because they're written in gold leaf on a black background, and over the decades they sort of wear away. Yes, side 2 is Old Man River. Okay, from Showboat. Well, this will be good. Hammerstein and Kern. And again, Glenn Gray and his Castleham Orchestra. Well, we'll have to play side B. Have to give this a Guernsey. It's great music. Cusp music from early 1930s. What a furious arrangement. That was Old Man River, up-tempo version there on a Brunswick 78 back in about 1931. Hello there, Frank.
Evening.
Hi there, Frank. Yeah, sorry about the slow start today. We had
You had a slow start, did you?
Yes, we had a few distractions, so it didn't get going until about 5:35.
I've just got home.
Oh, right, you've been out and about.
I have. I've been at this
Oh,
recital.
yes, of course you have. Yes, big concert today. Tell me about it.
Incredible. I'll tell you a bit about it if you like.
Yeah, please do. Now, let's give us the blurb. And yeah, this was at a private recital.
Private recital in Caulfield.
Yes.
And given by a bloke who's an old friend, but he's a radiologist. He turned 80 today. We've been going to his recitals for about the last 10, 15 years. He does 2 or 3 a year.
Right.
He's got this Stewart piano, as I was telling you, and quite a sizable organ.
Wow. Gosh, a pipe organ, I gather.
Yeah, it was. A pipe organ, yeah.
Yeah, as you do.
Anyway, and anyway, the sort of ultimate, I don't know. They had some speeches because of his birthday.
Yes. Okay.
And a few sort of luminaries, people who knew him well, and he got this award not recently, but I hadn't known about it. He's a radiologist as well as a very talented musician.
Yes.
And he got an award. He got a doctorate of laws from Monash.
Yes.
On account of having these two talents and being so sort of well known.
Yes.
I've never heard of it being given unless you're a lawyer, you know.
Goodness me, that's fascinating.
So it's the highest award a university can give someone.
Yes, it is. It's an extraordinary honorary award. It's amazing. Wow, that's fabulous. And what did he perform, Frank? What was
a lot of Bach on the organ.
Yes. Great.
Trio sonatas and stuff.
Oh, marvellous. Did he perform with other musicians too? Or on his own?
Just him. And with the piano, he played some lovely Schumann.
Oh, beautiful.
And he championed Vidor a bit.
Vidor's music. Okay. Sure.
Especially on the piano. He and a friend have produced an entire repertoire of the whole of Vidor's piano music.
Really? How about that? I didn't know it even existed. I always associated Vidor with organ music.
It was got together over many years.
Right. What a project. What a monumental project.
It was a sort of a hobby horse with him.
Good for him.
Anyway, at the end of the concert ended very dramatically because the organ broke down.
Oh no, poor fellow. He's probably anticipating this event for a long time, and then he had a failure.
That's right.
Oh, but he probably took it in good grace, I'm sure.
He did indeed. But the other thing that happened was that a friend who was a page turner,
yes,
had to leave. In fact, it was the young man who helps him with you get this compilation of Vidor stuff together.
Right. Yes.
He had to leave at our interval.
Oh.
And this Canadian guy emerged.
Yes.
As a page turner.
Yes.
And it turned out that I can't remember his name, but he's the head of the conservatorium.
Oh my God.
He's been there for 4 years.
Really? Oh, that's extraordinary.
Quite extraordinary.
Isn't that amazing?
And he said,
wheels within wheels. Yeah.
Well, when the organ stopped working,
yes,
he said, well, you know, I'm sure Harold, that's the performer, will have a few words to say, but just goes to show you can take the wind out of this organ, but you can't take the wind out of Harold.
Oh, brilliant. I love it.
Oh, this was right off the cuff.
Off the cuff. It's comedy in motion. It's amazing. And spontaneity as well. What an event. Oh, it would have been great.
I was wishing you could have been there.
I would have loved it. I would have lapped it up. I love that sort of spontaneous sort of reckoning. That is just... That's great. Well, I hope he repairs his organ. And
I think they sort of know what's wrong.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah. Anyway, look, I've gone on.
No, it's great.
Time.
Did you get a chance to ask him about the Stewart piano? What's happened to Mr. Stewart?
No, I didn't get a chance.
Right.
In all of the turmoil.
No, that sounds like there's too much happening. But
there was. But I will. I want to ring him and have a chat and thank him.
Yeah,
so
for
I'll
sure.
ask him then.
It would be interesting to know what's happened to the Stewart piano. I'm sure they're still out there. I'm sure they're still being made. But
it was sounding very, very good today.
Oh, beautiful.
I was noticing how resonant it is and how long the notes can hang.
Yes, that's it. That's the beauty of them. They've got a they've got a really focused sound, really precise, really it's a different sound. It's hard to describe really, but yes, the nature of I think the genius behind the Stewart piano is that the little bridge mechanisms, which sort of, there's a little bar that fits above every single string.
Yeah.
I think they are on the horizontal domain rather than or there's some sort of different compliance aspect to the point of contact with the string.
Right.
And it enables the resonance to sort of become more apparent on each note.
Oh, I see.
So you get a more a resonance overall, and you get more interplay and all of those things. So I think there's a sort of an inherent stopping of the sound because of the bridges that hold all the strings up. And I think Stuart was able to find a way around that to make them sound better.
Yeah, I think their decay is kind of slower at the end.
Yes, that's it. I think it's a native a factor of the engineering, and that's where I think he's got a patent on it. I should look up the patent; it'll be online. But it's striking, and they are most marvellous sounding instruments, and they're
certainly
Australian creation. Yeah,
indeed. Yes, we're something for us to be proud of.
Definitely.
Anyway, that's it. This is vk3sl. In contact with vk3sl test transmission.
Yes, we're just making our usual afternoon missions jaunt. Duplex comms, as they say. Yeah, so that's great, Frank. I'm glad you had a good afternoon. And yes, you did mention it yesterday, and it sounds amazing. It sounds really good. I just love the idea of the home concert and sort of little performances like this. It's just, and they have so much meaning, and there's so much intent behind it. And I'm sure he just played superbly. It would have been amazing.
He did play superbly, and a lot of the people there were the people who are working with him or have worked with him, or relatives of those who have worked with him.
Well, how meaningful is that?
In his radiology work.
Yes, well, maybe one day I can meet him. I'll come to his 90th.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, see what you can. Well, so people like that just go forever. They just never stop.
Well, that's it. Well, he seems to be undiminished at the moment. He has had some sort of cancer, but he seems to have worked through that.
Right. Okay. Well, it's the most marvelous thing is he's enjoying music, and he's just so willing to share it.
Still working, still doing his day job as well.
Wow, how about that? Amazing.
He had the choice at uni of whether to be a professional musician.
Yes.
Or do this radiography.
Okay.
Radiology, I'm sorry.
Yes.
And he kind of kept both going for a while.
Yes.
He did quite a lot of live performances on the ABC earlier on.
Right. Okay. How interesting. Yeah. Look, it's a tricky one, isn't it? When you've got to sort of find your career path and make these big decisions.
He was taught by a guy named Seidel.
Oh. Okay. Interesting. The name rings a bell. I know of Tosca Seidel, but he was a violinist. But there's probably a
relative, you'd think.
It may well be.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to speak to him. It'd be interesting to find out.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Oh, good one. Well, that's really good. So it was an even complement of piano and organ.
A piano first half, and then we stop and we have food and sandwiches and a glass of wine.
Yes.
And then the second half.
Brilliant.
The most enjoyable afternoon.
Absolutely fantastic. Yep, I celebrate it. I just think that these sort of things should be happening everywhere, every street corner. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're just playing simple things. It doesn't matter at all. It's all about sharing music and being live and just indulging, and everyone should be able to share their love of music.
All of that. It was wonderful.
I think so. Yeah, that's great. Thank you, Frank. That's tremendous. Well, I was sort of passed out. See, the first half an hour or so, we've got. I'm a little bit behind the 8 ball here, but I think I think I'm okay with the powers that be here, but I've been out and about most of the day doing various things, and I've been reminded that we've got guests coming for dinner tonight. So I took the first half an hour of the program. I've just been doing a few cleanups and sorting and sweeping paths and various things, and now that's all done. I've got an hour of clear time, so with a okay conscience about it.
Very good.
So we'll just we'll populate that time with a few more hits, and this one is we just heard the Casaloma Orchestra with Glenn Gray, but I've just found a record of Crosby, an early Crosby, a very passionate performance by Bing from 1933. It's with Johnny Greer's band. It's when he was really cutting loose and really he was a big person on the block, and he did record this with multiple labels. I'm aware of that. There's certainly a Brunswick version of this kicking around as well, but this is on a Columbia, and it's a very, very passionate song, and I just think this shows another dimension of Crosby's art at that time, and the name of the tune is Black Moonlight.
Lost in the shuffle, I've drifted and strayed, bruised by the city, bewildered, betrayed, with a heart heavy laden with faltering strides. I have come to the bridge, to the line that divides. What am I doing up here in the day, as I gaze at the cold riverbed? Why do I ask myself, shall I go back, when I seem to be going ahead to black moonlight, where everything reflects your color, darkness that is endless, nights that leave me friendless, blue. Black moonlight, you make the lights of Harlem duller. Just like me, you're faded, jaded and degraded too. Why must you send ebony moonbeams, depressing, distressing, like shadows of loves that are gone? Where will it end? Will it spread on to the starlight, the sunlight, and darken the promise of dawn? Black moonlight, I've lost all power to resist you. Madly I await you, even though I hate you. Black moonlight. Lost all power to resist you. Madly I await you, even though I hate you. Black moonlight.
Yes, definitely a Depressions era song. Bing Crosby with Johnny Greer and Black Moonlight. Yes, certain, well, more passionate than you usually hear Bing. He's in the spirit of it there. And I think that's an interesting example of his work. Okay, I'm vk3sl and we're testing and we're sifting through piles of 78s. And I took some records off the shelf and they happen to mostly be Deckers. These Decker discs are mostly from the 40s, I think. They're a bit later. Let's see what we've got here. It's more Crosby. This one looks interesting. Yes, it is, because it's under the direction of Joe Venuti, who was a great fiddle player. I don't know if he's playing on this, but he's directing the band, and he wrote the song. So we'll have to hear this. It's a track called Ain't Doing Bad, Doing Nothing, and it's a later Bing Crosby, but let's continue with some more Bing for the moment, and then we'll see what else we have in this Decker pile. So, back to 1940 Mumble.
I ain't doing bad, doing nothing, just laying round all day. I'm telling you, the less I do, the more things come my way. When I get up in the morning, thinking of the day ahead, makes me so downright weary, I go right back to my bed. Why should I ever worry? It's such a losing game. Why should I move when I can prove that I get there just the same? Ain't doing bad, doing nothing. Somehow it seems to pay. I ain't doing bad, doing nothing, just laying around all day. Why should I ever worry? It's such a losing game. Why should I move when I can prove that I get there just the same? Folks look at me and say, be something. How much more would it pay? I ain't doing bad, doing nothing, just laying around all day, just laying around all day.
We heard some laid-back Bing there, and it was with Joe Venuti and his band.
Now that was a really interesting comparison between Crosby's voice 10 years earlier.
Yes, absolutely.
And I just thought it was so much better.
Yeah,
it was a better crooning voice, I thought.
Oh, the second one or the first one?
First one.
Yeah, the first one is different artist. Yeah, I think he rested on his laurels. He just fell into this middle ground of singing sort of, labile ballads.
Well, that's right, but his voice went deeper.
Yes, it did.
And his vibrato slowed down.
Yes, definitely. He became. It just had a different flavour about it, didn't it?
Yeah, as you say, it sounded a bit like just relaxing on, his laurels and taking it easy.
Yes.
The first one had a real passion.
He had a youthful zeal. I know, and it's very interesting to sort of contemplate that. I tend to, I won't say write off, but I don't really listen to this later Crosby stuff very much because it just doesn't have the same appeal. When he was young, he was on top of his game, and he was probably practicing as well. He's probably keeping his range. To keep your range in check, you've got to do a few vocalizers. He would have had to have worked.
Sure.
He probably wouldn't have admitted it, but he probably did have to work.
Yep.
And he would have had a vocal coach, and there would have been, quite a lot of expectations were high. He was kicking off, and he had to maintain a certain sort of level of technical dexterity.
Yeah.
And yes, you hear that edge, that passion, that raw energy in his singing in the early recordings, which was you certainly don't hear later on. He just sort of and close miking. I mean, that was the thing back by the 40s. Yeah, he was just getting up nice and close and using the proximity effect to his advantage, I think, with the microphone. So, yes, it is a very interesting point you bring up there, and it's something that's very ever, I contemplate when I hear Bing Crosby. But, well, look, I've noticed that another Jelly Roll Morton track has popped up online, and so we're going to jump back to the 20s just for a bit, then I'll play a few more of these Deckers, because there's a few Mills Brothers, and there's even some Connie Boswell here, so that could be good to follow on with. But this is an interesting one. Features a little bit of Mr. Morton, Mr. Lementh, I think his name was. What was his
name?
Yes, Ferdinand Joseph Lemoth, L-E-M-O-T-H-E, Lemoth.
French, imagine.
Yes, French Creole.
Yeah.
And so, yes, in this instance, we hear quite a bit of him playing the piano by all accounts, and it's a recording from 1929. That might interest you, this one. It's Courthouse Bump is the name of the track. I'd so love to know the story behind that song, Courthouse Bump, with Jelly Roll Morton. At the piano and fronting the ensemble. He arranged all his music. He wrote out everyone's parts, and they had to comply.
Sounds like there'd be a backstory, doesn't it?
Oh, I reckon there would be. There's something going on there. Apparently he used to put a pistol on the side of his piano. And
there's a little bit of irony in there, I recken.
Yeah, I reckon. I certainly think there is. Oh, they're fascinating.
Past experiences, maybe.
I reckon he had a lot of street cred, did Mr. Mr. Morton.
He's been out there and done that, hadn't he?
He certainly had.
Yeah.
At a very young age, I think it's all started with him.
Yeah.
He cut loose and he did his own thing. And right to the end, I'm forever fascinated by Jelly Roll Morton's recordings, and we'll keep them rolling as long as they keep popping up. So that was great. Okay, it's very interesting when you compare the likes of him to the pitch of someone like Duke Ellington.
Yeah.
Who had a much more sophisticated sort of front, you know. I mean, he was obviously a lot more erudite and more connected and more respected in the industry, and probably a better musician in terms of ensemble.
And a more breadth to him.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you can't sort of compare in that sense, but their profiles were quite sort of very
There were
different.
points of similarity, weren't there?
Yeah, there are and there aren't. That's the thing. It's so interesting. Yeah.
They're
So
both very important in the jazz scheme of things.
absolutely, it would be most interesting to sort of hear how they defined each other, how they saw each other in the broader picture. There's probably a discussion of that fact somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, I know that there's 8 hours of recordings of Alan Lomax with Jelly Roll for the Library of Congress in 1938-39. And
Life needs to be twice as long to be able to hear all this stuff.
I know, it's staggering. I mean, and there's so many stories, and it's so good that some of these pioneers did tell their story. And
Absolutely.
yeah. Anyhow, we'll continue, and we're jumping ahead again to the 40s. It's one of these deckers, which is in this pile, and we haven't heard Mills Brothers for a while. So, yeah, here we have Laura Bell Lee as the name of the track, and I reckon this must come from about 1946, certainly post-war, but it should be good. If I switch things in.
I got my Sunday best on, going strutting with my Laura Bell Lee. She's waiting for me, and I'll be there, I declare, with an hour to spare. And when we're walking arm in arm down the boulevard, oh golly, I'm proud. Just look at that crowd. Hey, pop, cola, cop, or the traffic will stop, 'cause she's so, oh, so adorable, my Laura Bell Lee. My bundle of gosh, oh gee. So don't blame me for highfalutin' it, got my horn out. I'm a tootin' it, bust each button when I'm out strutting with my Laura Bell Lee. I got my Sunday best on, going strutting with my Laura Bell Lee. She's waiting for me, and I'll be there, I declare, with an hour to spare. And when we're walking arm in arm down the boulevard, oh golly, I'm proud. Just look at that crowd. Hey, pop, call the cop, or the traffic will stop, 'cause she's so, oh, so adorable, my Laura Bell Lee. My bundle of gosh, oh gee. So don't blame me for highfalutin' it, got my horn out, and I'm a tootin' it, bust each button when I'm out strutting with my Laura Bell Lee. I got my Sunday best on, going strutting with my Laura Bell Lee. Oh, she's waiting for me, and I'll be there, I declare, with an hour to spare. And when we're walking arm in arm down the boulevard, oh golly, I'm proud. Just look at the crowd. Hey, pop, call the cop, or the traffic will stop, 'cause she's so, oh, so adorable, my Laura Bell Lee. My bundle of gosh, oh gee. So don't blame me for highfalutin' it, got my horn out, and I'm a tootin' it, bust each button when I'm out strutting with my Laura Bell Lee. My Laura Bell Lee.
The Mills Brothers and Laura Bell Lee. And yeah, they had a beautiful synergy. Like the Bozzies, the Mills were also remarkable musicians.
And it sounds like the Bozzies. It sounds like they are brothers. A number of people with very similar voices.
Yeah, it is interesting. Same DNA or similar.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. It's fascinating, isn't it? How these things manifest. And yeah, I mean, I think that their personnel changed quite a bit. Well, not a lot, but I think one of them died fairly early on or moved on, and there was someone else brought into the group, and I think it had a couple of different manifestations. I should look them up. But there's more in this pile. There's we've got the Glowworm and After All. Do you know any of those?
Yeah, I know the Glowworm.
That was
little Glowworm.
That's right. That was a bit of a hit for them, wasn't it?
Was a hit, and it was from another thing. It's a song that had been around for quite a while.
Okay, right. So it was their take on that song.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Oh, it sounds interesting. All right. Well, we'll find out. We'll just slap it on. It's a bit worn, this record, but we should get there.
It was from a ballet, sort of a ballet type thing.
Okay, sure. All right. Well, let's have a listen and find out.
Shine, little glowworm, glimmer, glimmer, lead us lest too far we wander. Love's sweet voices calling yonder. Shine, little glowworm, glimmer, glimmer, hey there, don't get dimmer, dimmer. Light the path below, above, and lead us on to love. Glow, little glowworm, fly a fire, glow like an incandescent wire, glow for the female of the species. Turn on the AC and the DC. This night could use a little brightening. Light up, you little old bug of lightning. When you gotta glow, you gotta glow. Glow, little glowworm, glow. Glow, little glowworm, glow and glimmer. Swim through the sea of night, little swimmer. Thou aeronautical Moevo, illuminate yon woods primeval. See how the shadows deep and darken. You and your chick should get to sparking. I got a gal that I love so. Glow, little glowworm, glow. Glow, little glowworm, turn the key on. You are equipped with taillight neon. You got a cute vest pocket master, which you can make both slow and faster. I don't know who you took the shine to, or who you're out to make a sign to. I got a gal that I love so. Go, little glowworm, go. Go, little glowworm, go. Go, little glowworm, go. Go, little glowworm, go.
There you have Glowworm, and I'm sorry, folks, we're getting a bit of RF into that turntable. These things are constantly in check. We have to deal with complexity here. We've got crocodile clips abound, and I sort of sift them around, and somehow it sort of finds its medium and then goes sour again. But never mind. That was a great record. I enjoyed hearing that. And,
I was trying to make
it's
a classic.
Yeah, I was trying to make the connection. It sounds very familiar, Frank.
It is. It's I think a German, someone like Kurt Weill or someone.
Yeah. I reckon you're right. I think it's something that's sort of in the consciousness, but I can't put a finger on.
It was written, I think, in the 30s or maybe in the 20s.
Yes, definitely. And yes, it has another story behind it. So
yeah, and it was written, I think, played more sedately. It wasn't written to be sung like that.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with it. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
It was written as a sedate sort of a little turkey trot sort of thing.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, and they put their own stamp on it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, it's sort of not a bad marketing idea to pick up something that's in the consciousness of the the listener, and,
and
give it a 50s treatment or 40s treatment.
Oh, it was a great record.
Yeah, it's good. All right, well, we'll go back to the other turntable, I think. We'll just cue that up. And here we have the next one on the pile is, I'll just get it out of the bag, and it's a recording of Peggy Lee and Bingle Boy. And we've got Watermelon Weather, or we've got The Moon Came Up with a Great Idea Last Night.
I don't mind Watermelon Weather.
Watermelon Weather, we will play it. It's on the table. We'll just shove it on, needle in, and we'll do our proverbial start in motion. Here we go, in the groove. Let's have a listen. Watermelon Weather, Peggy Lee and Bing Crosby.
It's watermelon weather, that summer kind of weather, when people get together and sing.
It's the time of year the stars seem to dance with laughter,
and the moon so big and bright it can hardly climb, bright as a dime.
so why don't you meander to your best girl's veranda and sorta kinda hand her the ring?
Yes, it's the sweetheart kissing season, and all the world's in rhyme when it's watermelon, sweet love telling time.
It's the time of year the stars seem to dance with laughter,
And the moon so big and ripe it can hardly climb, bright as a dime.
so why don't you meander to your best girl's veranda and sorta kinda hand her the ring?
Yes, it's the sweetheart kissing season, and all the world's in rhyme when it's watermelon, sweet love telling time, telling time, love telling time.
There we have the Peggy Lee and Mr. C and Watermelon Weather. Now, let me find this. I reckon it's worth playing the other side, because it suddenly dawned on me that this is upbeat. And I remember hearing this on a Bing Crosby thing with, now, that program. It used to be on the ABC on Saturday nights.
Oh, with John West.
John West, yes, go West.
I heard that fairly recently. I think it might have been on Shortwave Australia.
Oh, my goodness me.
Or it might have been when, I think it was when Dave was doing one of the missions in your absence.
Okay.
You know, when
Yes.
to keep the frequency warm mission.
Oh, right, I get it. Yes, there was there's quite a few John West programs circulating. I've got some here that I picked up in a second-hand shop not far from here.
Yeah.
And I might have shared them with Dave as well. And you've reminded me about this. There was a big antique store, and they had stacks of tape. And a number of the tapes were of off-air recordings in the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And including, I think, about 3 or 4 episodes of the Sentimental Journey program with a program with John West.
There you go.
So that's, yes, that could be one of the sources, but I think Dave had other programs as well.
Yeah.
But yes, I do remember hearing this next record. It's suddenly coming back to me, so I want to hear it again just to sort of liven up the impression. So, yeah, this is upbeat. It's called The Moon. Came up with a great idea last night. So we'll slap it on and we'll just find out. I'm vk3sl.
The moon came up with a great idea last night.
One of those things that rings a bell.
So I kinda looked at baby, and baby said maybe.
There wasn't any maybe till the moon came up with a great idea last night.
Suddenly everything was swell,
And before I knew it, baby was holding me tight.
the stars winked overhead, like they knew she was due to confess. Not a word was said. What a wonderful way to say yes.
Yes, the moon came up with a great idea, all right.
She saw the light,
And there won't be any maybe with baby tonight.
Oh, it was a great idea.
Just great. The moon came up with a great idea last night. Yes, it took the moon to do it, 'cause before I knew it, baby was holding me tight.
Tender but tight,
The stars winked overhead,
like they knew she was due to confess. Not a word was said.
It's a wonderful way to say yes. The moon came up with a great idea, all right. Too big to fight, and there won't be any maybe with baby tonight.
And there won't be any maybe with baby tonight, tonight, tonight.
Oh, Peggy Lee is so sensuous, isn't
God,
she?
I love her. I reckon she's got one of the most sexy voices.
I agree.
Trade.
I know.
It's that slight breathiness.
I know. I completely agree with you. I was just thinking that.
I was thinking, I was going to tell, that was going to be my first comment.
Yes, definitely.
She's
Yeah.
doing it slightly more than usual in that.
Yeah, I think when she made that comment about saying yes, I thought that was very, very compelling, that moment.
Fantastic.
Okay, time for a cold shower. Let's hear some Connie Boswell with.
I tell you what, a way to kill all that stuff.
Yeah.
She's not with us anymore.
No, that's right. She's gone. She's
Peggy.
gone. Yeah, I know. She's wonderful. I love her singing.
So do I. It's got an extra dimension, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
Over the average band singer.
I agree. She's in a class of her own. And we do hear a lot of Peggy Lee because Beatrice loves hearing Peggy Lee. She loves
I mean, look at the Skylark.
I know. Oh, yes. Okay, well, we'll move. I could just listen to Peggy all day, but I'm conscious that I've got to finish soon, unfortunately.
Yes.
But we have here a Connie Boswell record, and this is under the direction of Ray Sinatra. And I just did a quick search, and Ray Sinatra is indeed related to Frank.
Oh.
And there's a bit of a story here, and this is quite fascinating, actually, because I think Frank Sinatra took a long time to get discovered, and I think he was really pushing every button he could to be heard.
Yeah.
And Ray Sinatra was a band leader, and he was doing big things in Hollywood. And it says here, he In 1935, he was working with the Boston as a radio band leader. In 1936, he was conductor of the Lucky Strikes hit parade. Frank Sinatra contacted Ray in the spring of 1937 while he was working in the NBC House Orchestra, asking whether they were related, and mentioned that he wanted to become a singer.
Yeah.
Ray checked and found they were cousins, and helped find a stint for Frank on the NBC radio show. There we go.
That's great.
All in the family. Southern Italy. Yeah, Frank wanted to change his name to Frankie Trent, and Ray dissuaded him, saying, "Are you kidding? Sinatra's the most beautiful name in the world. It's so musical." There we go.
Of course it is. A lot more memorable than Trent.
Yes, Frankie Trent's terrible choice. How did you come up with that one?
No.
Yeah. Anyhow, Ray Sinatra became well known as a conductor, and early in Frank Sinatra's career, when he was leading the instrumental jazz combo The Four Sharps, he was asked by Fred Allen whether he was related to Ray Sinatra. Not long after Ray was being asked if he was related to Frank. There we go.
Oh my God!
How about that? Isn't it amazing how the tide turns? All right, so Ray Sinatra is conducting this recording with Connie Boswell, who went solo after the Bozzies broke up in 1936. Connie continued with a solo career. Actually, she made some great records at Bing as well. But we'll hear this one on her own with the orchestra. It's called You Grow Sweeter as the years go by. So let's have to slap that one on and drop the stylus, and I think we are ready to zip.
You grow sweeter as the years go by. You grow sweeter as the twilight fly. I need never dream of our first kiss when I know our last one is as sweet as this. Though September takes the place of June, in September there's a harvest moon. Let the leaves start falling, darling. What care I when you grow sweeter as the years go by? Though September takes the place of June, in September there's a harvest moon. Let the leaves start falling, darling. What care I when you grow sweeter as the years go
by. Say it had such a fullness to her voice, didn't she?
Oh, yeah.
It's very interesting to hear her singing solo, and you can hear the way that it's a real voice with lots of texture.
She's a bit more expansive solo, isn't she?
Yes, I agree. She is. And it's a testimony to how good a musician she was, that she was able to blend in well, because she could have easily stuck out within the ensemble.
That's right.
It's fascinating. She made a couple of records with Bing, and they are both really good. One is Bob White, We're Going to Swing Tonight, What You Going to Swing Tonight.
Yeah.
And that's from 1937. Now, I do remember hearing this one on John West's program too.
Good.
Back in the 70s when I was a child on my crystal set. And yes, it's a fabulous track. So let's have a listen to this.
I was talking to the whippoorwill. He says you got a corny trill. Bob White,
I'm gonna swing tonight.
I was talking to the mockingbird. He says you are the worst he's heard. Bob White,
I'm gonna swing tonight.
even the owl tells me you're foul, singing those lullaby notes.
Well, he's a bring down, he never could swing down. He ain't got my high notes.
There's a lot of talk about you, Bob.
Yeah?
They're saying you're off the car.
Why, that's heresy. I'll sue.
Fake it,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. B.
Here I go.
Take it, follow me, Bob White.
We're gonna break it up
tonight. Here's a wire from the whippoorwill.
You mean my old friend
He says that
Bill?
you have got a mellow thrill.
Oh, yes, I have.
Bob White,
We're in the groove tonight.
now here's another from the mockingbird.
What does he have to say?
That you're the best he's heard.
Oh, that's too absurd.
Bob White,
We really saw the light.
even the owl threw in a towel after you sing staccato.
And the flamingo hollered for jingo. What a vibrato.
Now the consensus of opinion
Oh, what is the consensus is?
that you're a solid whiz.
Oh, yes, I is.
Sing on, Mr. B.
I'm gonna swing on merrily.
Bob White.
We really broke it up tonight, Bob.
Okay, I'm not sure what film that was from, but it was quite a complex track, actually.
That was beautifully worked together.
Yeah, it was. It was really masterfully worked out, yes.
Timing perfect.
Yeah, they would have spent a lot of time rehearsing that.
Oh, you'd have to.
You'd have to, indeed. Yeah, really interesting one.
Gee, I really like that.
Yeah, it's great. And they did Alexander's Ragtime Band and also, yes, Basin Street Blues. Here we go. It's there. There's another one with the both of them from similar period, late 1930s. They had a few gigs together.
Yeah, drop a chair. Won't you come along with me?
Where are you fixing to go, Miss Constance?
Way down that Mississippi.
Oh, love the Mississippi. Love that river.
Now we'll take a boat to the land of dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Stream right down that river, down to New Orleans. Now the band's gonna meet us.
Which band is in the meeting department, Connie?
Dr. Black's gonna meet us, Bing.
Oh, we're gonna be met big, ain't we?
Ain't we? Now, where all the light and the dark folks meet, heaven on earth, they call it Basin Street. Oh, Basin Street is the street where all the light and dark folks meet. Down in New Orleans, the land of dreams. You'll never know how nice it seems, just how much it really means. Glad to be, yes sirree, where welcome's free and dear to me, where I can lose my
those Basin Street blues.
Lay it on us, Dr. Black. Let me hear it.
Street is the street where all the light and dark folks meet. Down in New Orleans, the land of dreams, you'll never know how nice it seems, just how much it really means. I'm glad to be, yes sirree, where welcome's free and dear to me, where I can lose my Basin Street blues.
Well, Miss Constance, I must say that was sure some excursion.
Sure was.
Just a new kind of a diversion. I'm forced to admit that they swing out real sweet. Heaven on earth, they call it Basin Street.
Yeah, fascinating stuff, really. And they complement each other superbly. Connie Boswell and Bing Crosby there. And, yeah, she was a force to be reckoned with. In fact, Ella Fitzgerald said she owed everything to Connie Boswell. She listened ad nauseum to Connie when she was a young, aspiring artist. And, yeah, Connie kept going right up to the 50s. There's some albums in the 50s with her singing.
Oh, wow.
Which are really interesting too. But I'm going to have to wind. I've been given the nod, and
Okay.
guests arrive in about 15. But I'll put on something just to keep the airwaves warm for a little bit longer. But I will depart these shores. And look, I'm planning to be around tomorrow. And Livia's got a concert tomorrow afternoon in Healesville.
Oh.
And I don't know if I've got the energy to. I've heard the program, and they're doing it again. So I probably will stay home, and I probably will do the missions. But if I feel otherwise disposed, I will ring you, Frank, and people will know that if there's nothing on, there's nothing on.
That's right.
And that's the way it has to be. So just see how I go. I'm pretty tired, and I've had a massive week, and I've been driving around a lot today. So I think that tomorrow I just need to lie low.
Yes, you've got to look after the body.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's just been so full on this last couple of weeks. I can't begin to. Well, we all know. Lots of stuff happening, and I did something very meaningful today. I'll tell the listener about this. Yes, I happened to be going through Kangaroo Ground, which is near Eltham, and I was going there for another reason, but I happened to go past the exact point just by chart. Well, I knew I had to go past this point where Andrew Jacobs was killed last week in the car accident. So I took the rose I got from the funeral and put it on the site of the car accident, just as a gesture. Not that he'll know anything about it, but it helps me.
I know.
And so it was a meaningful thing to do. But my God, it must have been a high-speed crash, because there's still bits of the car everywhere.
Oh no!
It's incredible. I thought they were supposed to clean up after these things, but it was a lot of. It must have been a very high-speed crash, but which is so strange, because he was a responsible person, and it was in a 60 zone, and he went right through a sign, and enormous tree. The tree was collapsed under the impact. So it must have been extraordinary, and a big fire.
I wonder it wrecked the battery.
Yeah, that's right. It was a huge fire. It took them 6 hours to get what was left him out of the car.
So I heard. You told me.
Yeah, it was just extraordinary. But anyhow, it was quite meaningful to visit the site and to put a rose there. So, yes.
Very good. Well done.
Anyhow, something that you have to do. All right. Well, I'll now say cheerio. Thanks, listeners, and we'll look forward to your company probably tomorrow. If it doesn't work out tomorrow, it'll be next week. We'll just continue. And so we'll hear now a compilation of Connie Boswell recordings from the early 30s through for a little while, and I'll just let this play out. So
is VK3JR going to do listens?
Yes, and vk3sl saying thank you for listening in, and thank you, Frank. And I was absolutely fascinated to hear about this afternoon, and I just think it's such a great thing to do, such a wonderful enterprise to, small concerts.
It was a great afternoon.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll catch you soon, and let's continue now with some more Connie until sunset.
People stop and stare, it's so hard to bear. Everybody knows you left me. It's the talk of the town. Every time we meet, my heart skips a beat. We don't stop to speak, though it's just a week. Everybody knows you left me. It's the talk of the town. We sent out invitations to friends and relations, announcing our wedding day. Friends and relations gave congratulations. How can you face them? What can you say? Let's make up, sweetheart. We can't stay apart. Don't let foolish pride keep you from my side. How can love like ours be ended? It's the talk of the town. I can't show my face, can't go any place. People stop and stare, it's hard to bear. Everybody knows you left me. It's the talk of the town. Every time we meet, my heart skips a beat. We don't stop to speak, though it's just a week. Everybody knows you left me. It's the talk of the town. We sent out invitations to friends and relations, announcing our wedding day. Friends and relations gave congratulations. How can you face them? Let's make up, sweetheart. We can't stay apart. Don't let foolish pride keep you from my side. How can love like ours be ended? Is the talk of the town. Think of you with every breath I take, and every breath becomes a sigh. Not a sigh of despair, but a sign that I care for you. I hear your name with every breath I take, on every breeze that wanders by. And your name is a song I'll remember the long years through. Even though I walk alone, you guide me. In the darkness, you light my way. And all the while inside me, love seems to say, when I sleep, you keep my heart awake. But when I wake from dreams divine, every breath that I take is a prayer that I'll make you mine. walk alone, still you guide me in the darkness, oh sweetheart, you light my way. And all the while inside me, love seems to say, someday, oh darling, when I sleep, you keep my heart awake. And when I wake from dreams divine, every breath that I take is a prayer that I'll make you mine. You're the last one I'd expect to see. Fate arranged this meeting just for me. Once we met beneath the stars above. Here we are again, but where is love? Isn't it a shame that you and I have drifted apart? When you're still in my heart, isn't it a shame? Isn't it a shame to think we took a perfect romance, never gave it a chance? Isn't it a shame? There was a time, my dear, you couldn't wait until we'd meet. Now when you see me, dear, you take the other side of the street. Isn't it a shame we can't agree to take up again, kiss and make up again? Isn't it a shame? Oh, isn't it a shame that you and I have drifted apart? When you're still in my heart, isn't it a shame? Now, isn't it a shame to think we took a perfect romance, never gave it a chance? Isn't it a shame? There was a time, my dear, you couldn't wait until we'd meet. When you see me, dear, you take the other side of the street. Isn't it a shame we can't agree to take up again, kiss and make up again? Isn't it a shame? Like a ship at sea, I'm just lost in a fog. My mind is hazy, my thoughts are blue. Guess I'll always be kind of lost in a fog without you. Waiting night and day like a bump on a log. I'm going crazy, what can I do? Help me find my way, 'cause I'm lost in a fog without you. was sunny every day. The sky was fair above. But you took the light away the day you took your love. Only fools like me could be tossed in a fog. I've got a heartache I never knew. Guess I'll always be kind of lost in a fog without you. Like a ship at sea, I'm lost in a fog. My mind is hazy, my thoughts are blue. Guess I'll always be kind of lost in a fog without you. I'm waiting night and day like a bum on a log. I'm going crazy.
This is a test transmission from vk3sl.
Help me find my way, 'cause I'm lost in a fog without you. It was sunny every day. The sky was fair above. What you took the light away the day you took your love. Only fools like me could be tossed in a fog. I've got a heartache I never knew. Yes, I'll always be kind of lost in a fog without you. Me standing alone without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me sing a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms will ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. When I looked, the moon had turned to gold. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a dream in without a love of my own. Blue moon, you knew just what I was there for. You heard me sing a prayer for someone I really could care for. And then there suddenly appeared before me the only one my arms will ever hold. I heard somebody whisper, please adore me. And when I looked, the moon had turned to gold blue. Now I'm no longer alone, without a dream in my heart, without a love of my own. You are my lucky star. I saw you from afar. Two lovely eyes at me, they were gleaming, beaming. I was starstruck. You're all my lucky charms. I'm lucky in your arms. You've opened heaven's portal here on earth for this poor mortal. You are my lucky star. In my imagination, I searched the starlit sky so bright. In my imagination, there I saw you in the night. And then one day I found you. How could I help but realize my lucky star was smiling there before my very eyes? You are my lucky star. I saw you from afar. Two lovely eyes at me, they were gleaming, beaming. I was starstruck. You're all my lucky charms. I'm lucky in your arms. You've opened heaven's portal here on earth for this poor mortal. You are my lucky star. I've got a feeling you're fooling. I've got a feeling you're having fun. I'll get a go-by when you are done fooling with me. I've got a feeling you're fooling. I've got a notion it's make-believe. I think you're laughing right up your sleeve, fooling with me. Life is worth living while you are giving moments of paradise. You're such a standout, but when you hand out that hocus pocus from your eyes, I've got a feeling you're fooling. I've got a feeling it's all a frame. It's just a well-known old army game, fooling with you. You are a picture no artist could paint. but you're a mixture of devil and saint. I just sigh and dream and try to figure you out. Love is in season, the moon's up above, though it be treason to question your love. Every time I look at you, my heart's in doubt. I got a feeling you're fooling. I got a feeling you're having fun. I'll get a go-by when you're done fooling with me. I got a feeling that you're fooling. I got a notion it's make-believe. I think you're laughing right up your sleeve, fooling with me. Life is worth living when you are given moments of paradise. You're such a standout, but when you hand out that hocus pocus from your eyes, I got a feeling you're fooling. I got a feeling it's all a frame. It's just a well-known old army game, fooling with you. Been rehearsing all the day, looked with all my might for something new to say to you. Pretty speeches from a play I could not recite, so I'll tell you in the same old way what I tell you every night. With all my heart I say I love you dearly, for I am yours sincerely. With all my heart, with all my heart, without a why or wherefore.
This is a test transmission from vk3sl.
With all my heart, and if I were lyrical, I would write a song telling of a miracle the day you came along. And every night I'll tell the stars above you to say again I love you. With all my heart, with all my heart, I say I love you dearly, for I am yours sincerely. With all my heart, with all my heart, without a why or wherefore, you're all I'll ever care for. With all my heart, and if I were lyrical, I would write a song telling of a miracle the day you came along. And every night I'll tell the stars above you to say again I love you. With all my heart.
I've been listening to a Connie Boswell compilation. And I'm vk3sl. We've been testing on 160 and on UHF and also streaming online. Thank you, folks, for listening in, and we look forward to your company tomorrow.
Shine on my love and me, so we can stroll beside the road. of the rolling sea. Moon over Miami, shine on as we begin a dream or two that may come true when the tide comes in. Hark to the song of the smiling troubadours, hark to the throbbing guitars. Hear how the waves offer thunderous applause after each song to the stars. Moon over Miami, you know we're waiting for a little love, a little kiss on Miami shore. Tropical twilight descending signals the end of the day. Palm trees are bowing and bending to all the sweethearts who say, moon over Miami, shine on my love and me, so we can stroll beside the road of the rolling, rolling sea. Moon over Miami, shine on as we begin a dream or two that may come true when the tide comes in. Hark to the song of the smiling troubadours, hark to the throbbing guitars. Hear how the waves offer thunderous applause after each song to the stars. Moon over Miami, you know we're waiting for a little love, a little kiss